All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to decode a language that's way older than words. I'm talking about the language of ancient symbols. And these aren't just, dusty old pictures. They're like a direct line into the minds of our ancestors. They show us the hopes, the fears, and the big questions that really connect all of us through time.
I mean, really think about that for a second. Why can a simple shape, a little curve, a knot, a drawing of an eye, why can it hold so much meaning, so much emotion and belief for centuries? Well, that's exactly the mystery we're going to unravel. It's because symbols have always been a kind of universal language. No matter the culture, no matter the era, humanity has used them to express the really big stuff. The things we can't always find words for, our deepest fears, our greatest hopes, and our place in this giant universe. And the very first, most primal thing these symbols tackle is our need for protection. We all want to feel safe, right? We want some kind of shield against harm, against negativity, and against all the forces out there that we can't quite see. So let's start with one you've probably seen everywhere, the evil eye. You find it all across the Mediterranean and way beyond. But here's the cool thing a lot of people miss. It's not a symbol of evil. It's a shield against it. The whole idea is that it catches any malicious glares or bad vibes and bounces them right back. It's like a tiny spiritual mirror. And check this out. It's a perfect example of a universal theme. On the left, you've got the Hamsa hand, which is huge in Middle Eastern and North African cultures. And on the right, the hand of Fatima from Islamic tradition. Their specific stories are different, but the core idea, it's exactly the same. An open hand that pushes away evil and welcomes in good things and blessing. And this idea, this need for a spiritual shield, it's literally everywhere. You've got the ancient Egyptian Eye of Horus for health and restoration. The dream catcher from indigenous American cultures, which, filters your sleep. Even the simple red string from Kabbalistic tradition. They're all like little pocket-sized bodyguards for the soul. Okay, so once we feel safe, once we feel protected, where does the human mind go next? We start tackling the bigger mysteries. And what's bigger than trying to make sense of life, death, and the endless march of time itself? And that brings us to our second big theme, how we use symbols to get our heads around the never-ending patterns of existence. The sun rises and sets, the seasons change, life goes on. How do you draw a picture of that? Well, this is just a fantastic comparison of two different approaches. On the left, you've got the infinity symbol. It's clean, it's mathematical, it's abstract. It represents this limitless, eternal flow. And then on the right, you have the ancient Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail. It's so much more raw and mythological, but it represents the exact same idea, that endless cycle of destruction and creation. Let's jump over to ancient Egypt for a second, to the scarab beetle. The Egyptians were amazing observers. They saw these beetles rolling up balls of dung and burying them, and then, later, they saw new life emerge from the ground. So for them, the scarab became this incredible symbol of rebirth, transformation, and the soul's journey into the next life. It's a very similar idea with the lotus flower in many Eastern traditions. Think about it. It starts its life in the murky, muddy water at the bottom of a pond, but then it pushes its way up, breaking the surface to bloom into this absolutely beautiful, clean flower. It's the perfect metaphor for our own spiritual journey, rising out of the muck of daily life to find enlightenment. Now, in Celtic traditions, the number 3 is a really big deal. Here you have two great examples. The Triskelion, with those flowing spirals, it's all about motion, the cycles of life, death, and rebirth. Then you have the Trikitreia. It's an unbreakable knot, and it often means the same things, but it can also represent the unity of 3 parts, like mind, body, and spirit. Okay, so we've got symbols for protection. We've got symbols for the cycles of life, but what's missing? What about our place in it all? How do we find our connection to the world, to the cosmos, and, well, even to ourselves? And that question leads us right into our third and maybe most profound theme. This deep human need to find balance, to find unity, and to feel like we have a place in the grand scheme of things. And you really can't talk about balance without starting right here, with the yin-yang. It is just the most brilliant symbol. It shows us that opposites, light and dark, masculine and feminine, chaos and order, they aren't actually fighting. They're part of one single whole. And you can see each one contains a little seed of the other. It's the ultimate picture of harmony. The Tree of Life takes this idea of connection and just blows it up to a cosmic scale. Its roots are deep in the earth and its branches are reaching for the heavens. It's the bridge between everything. It's this powerful reminder that we're all connected, to each other,
to nature, and to something much, much bigger than ourselves.
Oh, now this one is so cool because a lot of people get it wrong. We see a labyrinth and we think maze, but they're total opposites. A maze is designed to trick you. It has dead ends. A labyrinth, it only has one path. You walk it to the center and you walk the same path back out. It's not about getting lost. It's about the journey inward to find yourself. And if the labyrinth is the journey, then you could say the mandala is the destination. These incredible, intricate designs are like a map of the entire cosmos in miniature. The whole point of meditating on one, or even creating one, is to find that sense of unity and wholeness, to line up your own little universe with the big one.
So, what's the big takeaway here? When you step back and look at all these symbols together, from all these different cultures and times, you realize they're all telling the exact same human story. I mean, just look. Whether it's the Egyptian Ankh, promising eternal life, or the Hindu Om symbol representing the sound of creation, or the cross as a meeting point between worlds, or a Celtic knot showing the infinite nature of the soul, they're all reaching for the same fundamental things: life, meaning, and connection.
It really just boils down to this simple, beautiful truth. When words aren't enough, when the concepts are just too big for our brains to fully grasp, we turn to symbols. They are, and they always have been, the language of the soul. And that really just leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In our world today, which is totally filled with icons and logos, ancient and modern, what are the symbols that give your life meaning? What gives you that sense of protection or connection or a sense of your own place in this never-ending story?